Hey guys, TJ here. I'm signing back on to Ace Attorney Trilogy. We've got Luke Atmey back in the courtroom after accusing him of murder, which he did do. We just gotta prove it. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive? Inside your heart? Nicky boy! Oh, Mr. Light. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at the Lordly Tailor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? It's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. That's something I've been wondering since the possibility was brought up. What reason would Atmey have? Did he know the victim? Or was he just there? Now the court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey. I'm looking. I'd honestly rather look at you than the actual detective. Please take the stand. Well, well. How do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask Damask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I can know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask Damask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask Damask. Of course. Very well then, look at me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 AM, Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. There's the copy. First copy of the video. Alright, Mr. Atmey. Night of the murder. Speak. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. I was stealing the urn as Mask Damask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask Damask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else I'm gonna tell now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Mask Damask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me. I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a I've been being called a fool since Fran showed up in the second game. Is this gonna be a trend? I think you're trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. press everything, as usual. I was stealing the urn. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is! And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. And that is why I'm called Masque de Masque. But conveniently, that also means that there's no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Objection! You saying that this is not, in fact, look at me. That it could be an accomplice dressed up as a Masque de Masque to create an alibi. Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? Am I? No. If Look at Me was a KB security during the murder, then the Masque de Masque in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice! But right now, I have no idea who it was. I don't have any idea right now either. Base's objections are what that guy wants. There's gotta be another way, and I'm going to find it. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to the Lordly Tailor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the calling card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are an evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from the Lordly Tailor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain this perfect ace detective persona. You know? That's true. It is kind of odd. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. Objection! He was simply caught by the very camera that he'd set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. Looks like I'd rather gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now! It's all too clear what you're thinking. You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, didn't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Tailor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Tailor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. So, this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the Masque de Masque in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Lord the Tailor provided the camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed King Bullard, and there's a hidden accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and the picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Well, hang on. Let me take a really good look, just to be safe. Isn't the statue supposed to be here? Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night, before the theft took place. And there was something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? I think it would be like around here. The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain! Blood! Now this case is getting interesting. Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves to go on wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is, when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? The statue. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. Objection! But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? Well, it wouldn't have to be Look Atmey, wouldn't it? Yeah? The one who moved the statue is none other than Look Atmey. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. This is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason does the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be Mask to Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Tailor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That's why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw. Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? The statue? But, 1:58. The murder happened at 1 a.m. No. That's 50. That's a couple minutes before 1 a.m. Okay, I can tell time. I guess the timestamp would be the most suspicious part. Maybe? If I'm wrong, then fuck me. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Look Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. But why? That's the biggest question I want to know. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to be at the Lordly Taylor at this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was the statue placed beside the warehouse door? Well, a statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Look Atmey had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took his picture days before the murder took place. What? 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 Where do you see a date on that? I want to see a time. Where's the date? I was just taking a guess here. What the? Thank you. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Godot on this one. Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Oh. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Interesting metaphor. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Look Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way the way it had been in this photo. Order! Order! Mr. Atmey, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer! According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. I'm gonna have to make you wait for a bit because I need a drink myself. Sweet, delicious apple juice. My 11th cup. And there's the porn music again. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good to the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on the road to infinite points. Can you just please speak plain English instead of pretending to be a fucking philosopher? I think there was only one other person that tried to do that, and they failed. Just as bad. I think. Actually, I don't remember. Moving on. I think he got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied. Which is? I thought you were still drinking that last cup. Did you finish it? Is that why you got another one? I'm focusing on the wrong things here. That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor! Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please, provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. I first received a request from Lord Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in the box, and zvari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. A monetarily useless urn. Monetarily. But he wouldn't know that, would he? It's not like he talked to Miss Andrews about that. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah. But we'll find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zvari. Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright, press everything. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, right? Indeed. It seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews was still attracting the weirdos. You'd better watch out. You'd better watch out too, Maya. You mean this box? Yes, a pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn. And she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh. Interesting new tidbit. So you're sure that you'd never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm that for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. However, look at me, had let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. You have no idea how much I am so tempted to say don't want to every time I hear his full name. It's becoming a habit. I am trying my best not to. Jeez. Valuable treasure? You mean this calling card? That's right! That is, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atmey knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. I didn't handle security, blah 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 blah. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. I mean, that part seems normal, And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed. To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atmey might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took the photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Atmey stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. True. But what would prove that? What? Indeed. The speckled urn. Master Mask somehow knew about it. If you're... Mr. Atmey, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read the passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here. Surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn? Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there's no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains. And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error. Or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atmey had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. That's big take. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. How was I even supposed to vocalize that? I was just like, quack, 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 quack. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick? I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? You mean like the guy who has... I don't know if you're really, one to talk about conviction, Godot. Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You see that Luke Atmey was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? Yes, exactly, finally. The question that I've been asking since it was implied is being asked. Thank you. An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? That was a tongue twister, I swear to God. Never talk like that again, please. You will make me trip over my words more than I usually do. Nick, he's getting a second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. I, look at me, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. Handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Very well. Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Okay, so it was Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter. So it's possible that he thought that he... And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check on Detective Atmey and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them, saw in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Mistook? That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error. You're just making me want to punch you even more. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. You and me both, buddy. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvati! Take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? That last part is debatable. Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. You're uglier than Ron. You're uglier. You're the ugly one. Don't insult Delight like that. The defendant. The victim clearly misread this article as Zvati. He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask. Thank you for bringing up a picture. Now we can actually say you're the ugly one. I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. You mean this blackmail letter right here. It says, bring $50,000. And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee. This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up to the designated place and time. The fact that there's no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder... What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa! Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? No. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvai! KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. Kate Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was a thief. There's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't that a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master Mask? On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Do you really think that story is gonna hold up? That decision is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Ronnie thinks he's Master Mask. I'm just trying to imagine this guy. He's probably just reading it normally. Ronnie thinks he's Master Mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Well, Mr. Triton. Is he trying to act like Mr. Light is? Oh no, okay. I might have had the right idea. I thought he was actually pretty convincing. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, and better saved for another time. Very well, no time. Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience. So you're going to try and connect Detective Atmey to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. That's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. Okay, so the blackmail letter is definitely the object in question. Was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter? That red diamond we received the other day is... Red diamond, huh? Objection! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk! At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. We are not having a fist fight. Phoenix has been assaulted enough already. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. You didn't have the brain then. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the tear of Emenon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tear of Emenon that Master Mask stole at all.
Objection.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you're trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That's what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That's what you're trying to say, Mr. Wright? Well, is that what you're trying to say? Right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You've been personally involved in every single Master Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard rolled a letter in order to blackmail you. Order in the court. Order, I say. Seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atmey? You for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him! Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what is that identity? Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. Hold on. Ron mentioned something about getting plans for the robberies. Was he the one making them? Or is they plan? Well, I guess he would have to scare Ron into doing it. So maybe blackmail? Luke Atmey was a blackmailer.
Objection.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. You saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Ron DeLite was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron DeLite was actually Master Mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. DeLite steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you? You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron DeLite. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask. Well, yes. Ron DeLite started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he first committed that crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some better evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron was... This? They're both literally at the crime scene. And I think Ron said that Luke found the costume in the trash. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron DeLite in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Sometimes the dumbest shit can be the most logical. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was really Ron DeLite. What the? Was he supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. Can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why you? How dare you expose me like that? I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm famous and proud ace detective, and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That's your true identity. Why you? How dare you even imply that? Okay, I need to take a drink. He's just going off. Completely lost his mind. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atmey. Bailiff, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atmey.
Objection!
What? A hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I've already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. That is not your job, you... Excuse me. What is your job? Is it judge? No, it's prosecutor. Stay in your lane. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Tried. Sharp enough to scratch up your dumbass visor. What do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bolt. But there's still one thing you've yet to prove. What's that? Yeah, what is that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove this pitiful excuse for a man who was at KBC, at least we're agreeing on something. But I think pitiful excuse for a man is being a little too kind, Godot. Then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way! Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But can you really prove that? That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security, and the defense can prove it? Maybe? No, we can't. We don't have any physical proof. All we have is a silhouette that smacked the light on the head. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I... Isn't this obstruction of justice? You're committing crimes to make sure you win. That's... My good sir. That doesn't count as a real victory. You'll still have never won any cases. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Mask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out. I never want to hear that out of your mouth ever again. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Drawn Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. So, nothing. Your words mean absolutely nothing. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then, it'll be too late. Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, a defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. It is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means he'll be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way! The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. There's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? So many. Then I hereby end this cross-examination of Luke Atmey. I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you? Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Crane channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, it's true, but unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that... I'm the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he's the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Goodall? Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. It's true that the witness had made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Goodall, what are you... Very well done. Mr. Look at me. I am going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Indeed, it is true that I was not at the Lordly Tailor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brainy deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would not have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvati! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But, how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary as a lawyer. Weren't weren't you locked up for theft at the time? How did you get any kind of documentation? You going to make any more trouble for us now, Mr. Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke's Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance? It seems that the party's about to begin. Oh shit, they're serious, aren't they? One wrong move and I'm just... That's it. Huh, Phoenix? There isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix. Pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, it's our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. Seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. But I like to press everything! Indeed, it is true that I was not the lordly tailor. Had to leave to another vitally important job request in the middle of a job. Had known about the day beforehand, rated the photograph, brilliant deduction. Brilliant deduction, in other words, my dumb empty head. I'm just insulting this guy for the sake of it. Fuck this guy. There's also the deduction from the buzzer. Button did not have any fingerprints on it. Victim would have left prints. Mr. Light was wearing his outfit. Blackmail letter. Victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Therefore, all the evidence points. I have one goddamn chance. Okay, I'm not liking this comment. I don't like this comment. That's just basic evidence. He was there because they were found. You were in jail when that whole thing was found out. You okay. I did save it, so what I could do is press the comments that rub me the wrong way and reload if it's wrong. Wait a minute. How would you have known that? Again, you were in prison. Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
Objection!
I didn't even say anything! Let me fucking talk! You still don't get it, do you, Tright? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little I didn't! This is the first time I have pressed! So, don't at me! Don't at me, motherfucker! I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atmey, it seems you finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed? That's what I said! My deductions are absolutely foolproof! More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are the ones who have been watching this trial? Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There's no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well, come on, the detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atmey to have found that out. Only one way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker. So there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was looking at me. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Detective Atmey, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. He's lost his mind again. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival really my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. Yeah, he's just completely lost his mind. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Look At Me, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. and upon killing his blackmailer, Atmey tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use that double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict. I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Master Mask! So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. The defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now? Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. Boom. Not guilty of both crimes. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Master Mask after all. You did it, Phoenix! Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Kurain channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright, I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that... Come on, just be happy already. Maya, you've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Master Mask? I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Master Mask. Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bolt can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? Kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bolt is broken, there is a way to put it back together. I mean, I want to say the urn, because that was broken. You know? Twice, actually. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are! Miss Delight. You did it, Ronnie! You're innocent! I'm so happy! Thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined you were really Master Mask either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do that now that you know? You're not really going to leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Hmm? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like the detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spent with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. Oh, I can feel my face going red. Mr. Nick! Mr. Kamaya! Congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick! This is the man's wife! In front of Mr. Maya! No, you won't! I'll never forget! His face is all red for a different reason now. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. Episode 2, the end. On to episode 3. Is that Maya in a maid outfit? Why? Guess we'll find out. That's enough! This court sees no reason to further prolong the trial. This case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. The evidence and testimony we have seen and heard are conclusive. The victim was alone at the table when you drank that from the poison. No, you're wrong. I know what I saw. I saw. I saw someone else there. A man. He's the real killer. Why does the silhouette look like Phoenix? Why won't anyone believe me? Well, I'd say that pretty much wraps up this case up, wouldn't you? Mr. Wright? This court finds the defendant. Oh, we're starting this case off on a guilty verdict. Is Curtis adjourned? We lost to the tutorial prosecutor. That is truly embarrassing. The start of a new year always makes me feel like I could take on the whole world. I bet it does, Maya. So, I decided that our resolution should be Zavadi! Take on the world! What do you think? Sure, whatever, Maya. But I think maybe you've had more than enough mistletoe cake. Isn't mistletoe poisonous? Never! You've got to eat a lot of cake during New Year's. It's practically a tradition. like watching the fireworks on TV or playing a board game. Hey, pal! Oh, hi, Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe. Happy New Year, Detective! Likewise. Now listen up, Bright. I wanna... Here's to another fruitful year of lawyer-police cooperation. Yeah, me too. Alright, pal. You've got some explaining to... Have you got a holiday present for me, Detective? What? Well, here, have this. It's really nothing much, but... Yay! Thanks! Look, pal, we really need to talk. Take a seat! Hey, what about Pearly? You haven't forgotten her present, have you? No. I mean, yes. I mean, no. Are you doing this on purpose? Guess I'm busted. How'd you like my first practical joke of the year? Very funny, pal. Now let's see how funny you think this is when I show you this. What is it? A magazine? Hey, I want to see. Deadly poisoning brings guilty verdict. Defense Attorney Wright trounced. Trounced? Let me see that. The defense attorney gave an almost childless amateur performance yesterday. What the heck is this? It's a report, pal, about you. Listen to this. Mr. Wright must take full responsibility for the ruling in this case. Well, don't tell me you don't remember anything about it. But I don't remember anything about it. When was that issue from, anyway? December of last year, which I guess makes it last month. Which makes it old news, you mean? But I wasn't involved in a poisoning case in December. So what do you think this is all about, Nick? If it wasn't you, pal, then that leaves only one possibility. No way. You don't mean... A phony, Nick? This must be Gumshoe's idea of a joke. Guess he's starting off the year with one, too. So, what are you gonna do about it, pal? What do you mean, what am I going to do about it? Well, it's your fault that the judge found the defendant guilty in this case. My fault? How do you figure that? Because the Phoenix Wright is super famous now. Well, maybe only sort of. Yeah, see what happens when you hush-hush kids start getting too full of yourselves. But I didn't do anything wrong. At least not that I can remember. You better make this right, pal. Now. And that means taking the case back to court. Got it? Sounds like we've got our first case in the new year. Let's tackle it with gusto. I don't know. The judge already issued a guilty verdict once in this case. It's not going to be easy to get it overturned. I guess a New Year's resolution is going to have to wait until next year. So you're taking the case, right? Good. I'm gonna head over to the courthouse then. After that, I'll go back to the precinct. Drop by if you need something. Okay, pal? I guess people are starting to know the name Phoenix Wright. If a client entrusted a case to me based on my reputation, I guess I'm kind of responsible. But why would someone want to impersonate me? What sort of a guy would do that? So, what's our first move? I guess we go down to the detention center and talk. Wait a sec, Nick. This person's behind bars because of you. Whoever it is isn't going to be jumping at the chance to meet you, right? Hey, let's get one thing straight. It wasn't me, it was a fake me that did this. I wonder if he looks exactly like you. You're phony, Shinyop. I mean, I hope not. What kind of name for an evil Delaware Shinyop, anyway? Ah, Nick, I got it! If you're going to ask whether I've got a twin brother, the answer is no. Sport. Did you notice Gumshoe was acting weirder than usual, or was it just me? What do you mean? I mean, he was really worked up. Like a guy who's just been found out he's going to be a dad or something. Yeah, I guess he was acting kind of strange. Maybe he realized he's got strong feelings for you, Nick. Nah. Edgy. It will always be edgy. Considering how we interact, I seriously doubt that, Maya. Well, if he wasn't nervous because of you, then maybe it's because of our new guilty client. Right, let's see if we can meet this client. Get a name and face. This is so nerve-wracking, waiting to meet our new client. I wonder just what kind of person you tricked and got found guilty. Keep it down, Maya. That kind of talk could ruin me. Ah! How could you, Mr. Wright? How could you do this to me? They put me in solitary. I haven't been able to stop crying. Aren't you... Yes, I am. I'm totally and utterly Aren't you Bird? Are you... Don't pretend you don't know me. It's me, Maggie, remember? Maggie Bird. Hey, girl, how you doing? I say that knowing you're in fucking solitary. I'm sorry you're not bright enough to tell who is Phoenix Wright and who isn't. Maggie Bird. Maggie Bird. She's the policewoman I defended that one time. She was accused of murdering her lover. He was a cop too. What did you get accused? What are you doing in here? Didn't I get you a quick... Oh, sure, very funny. After that fifth-rate defense job, you come here and start making jokes. You better hurry up and tell her what happened, Nick. Oh, I see. So that's where we stand right now. I'm sorry you've been caught up in another murder. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. I vaguely remember her saying the exact same thing last time. But I don't mind. What's one more disaster in my life? What's one more disaster? You're in solitary! That's not a disaster you really want in your life. I'm just saying. At least now the real Mr. Wright is here with me. I won't let the world keep me down, sir. So, how come you're dressed like that, Maggie? Last year you looked so sharp in that police uniform. I was fired after that incident last year. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. I don't mind one bit. I enjoyed being on the force, but I think it was time for me to move on. So, what do you do now? In the second act of The Life of Maggie Bird, I'm playing the role of a waitress. A waitress? Yeah, in a French restaurant. It's a small place, but it's quite fashionable. My charming smile and shapely figure came through for me. And the owner, Mr. Armstrong, hired me straight away, sir. Armstrong. The first thing that comes to mind is Full Metal Alchemist Armstrong. And then you got into this mess straight away, right? Yeah, you could put it that way. This whole mess started on the 3rd of last month. And it happened at Très Bien. Très Bien? Yes, it's a restaurant where good service and a friendly smile are always included. Oh. There were 2 men at the table, both drinking coffee. And then... one of the men slipped some poison into the victim's cup. The victim took just one sip and was gasping for air. I was so shocked, I passed out. Hey, hold on there, Maggie. What? You keep calling the guy the victim. Didn't you know the guy who was killed? Not at all. I'd never seen the guy before. Oh. So she wouldn't have had a motive to kill him then, I guess. And the other man, the killer. You saw him, right? Of course! A good waitress must be attentive to the clientele. So, you saw the killer, but you were found guilty of the crime anyway? How come? You tell me, Mr. Wright! Guess the answer to my question is my phony. Anyway, she saw the killer. Better see if I can get a description of the guy. So, if you saw the murderer, why were you still convicted? Because no one else saw. Saw what? The other man. The one who put the poison in the victim's coffee. Everyone testified that way. Mr. Armstrong, the customer, everyone. The victim was sitting alone at his table the whole time. But how's that possible? I don't know, but nobody, not one person would believe me, sir. Even Phoenix Wright, my one last hope for a trial, failed me. What a pathetic defense! My granny could have done a better job. Look, that wasn't me, okay? And then, they found something a bit incriminating in my apron pocket. What? A small bottle of poison. What? The poison? It was in your pocket? Well, I passed out when the victim collapsed. The killer must have slipped the poison into my pocket when I was unconscious. And no one else saw this other guy? No, sir. That's what everyone said. But I don't see how they could have missed him. I was the one who took coffee to these two men. Oh? And what was your impression of them? Well, when I first saw them, I kind of thought they might be in the music industry. In music? How come? Well, one of them had some sort of earpiece and an emo musician's look about him. And there was a sample CD on the table, sir. An earpiece and a sample CD, huh? Did you get a look at the CD at all? It had a band's name written on it. I think it was MC something. They must have been preparing for their debut, I guess. So it was a band CD. Maybe a promo disc? Maybe it was MC Screwdriver. Get serious, Maya. Would you buy the CD of a group named that? What was the name of that group again? MC Hacksaw? No. MC... And what about the killer? What did he look like? Well, I don't really remember. Only that he was a young man. Well, about like the victim, really. Oh. Yeah, I need to ask you about this. Hey, this article's about my case! Can you tell me anything about the guy who was pretending to be me? Yes, sir! It was the morning after I'd been arrested. I met you in the visitors room here. You were wearing one of your super suits. Me? Yes, you, Mr. Wright. Ugh. Hey, Maggie, was my evil double I am here too? No, I don't remember a phone of you, Maya. Oh. Would have been so cool. Then you got really worked up and passionate. I'm gonna get you cleared of this crime, you said. Okay, I get the picture. But you've met me in person before. So how come you didn't realize that guy wasn't the real me? I guess looking back now, it was a little strange. Only a little? Well, okay, so you were a bit taller than normal, and you looked a bit shady. And your voice was a bit weird. Oh, and you had this kind of funny accent. And so the guy was nothing like me then. But he had your spiky hair and blue suit. Is that all it takes for someone to imitate me? How about everyone else in the courtroom, like the judge and the observers? Didn't they realize he was an imposter? Everyone had these big question marks on their faces. But it seemed that no one wanted to say anything, sir. This case just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Mr. Wright, do you think it's possible to get a retrial? Probably. The court ruled in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. So we should be able to get a retrial. Mr. Wright? Do you think we'll win next time, sir? My life has been a full course meal of bad luck, complete with defeat for dessert. Since I was 6 months old, when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment Jesus fucking Christ. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster. I even landed a phony lawyer when I had the misfortune of being accused of murder. But I will survive, because Maggie Bird always lives to fight another day. And one day, I'll find it. Just you wait and see, sir. I'll have one single moment of good luck. Shin Up is really going to pay for this. What are you staring at me like that for? But Maya's right. Whoever it is that thought it was a good idea to use my name and get an innocent girl convicted of murder had better watch out. We'll find him. Don't you worry. We'll get Jin up for you. Thank you. Oh, I'll tell you where Très Bien is then. Ah, right. The restaurant where the murder took place. Yes, sir. When you go, please tell Mr. Armstrong I said hi. Sure. Alright, Nick. Let's go check out this restaurant and its food. Alright. Off to Très Bien. A month and the crime scene is still there. Also, so much pink. Wow, look at this place. Is that Armstrong? Look, more like smell. What is with this suffocating scent of flowers in here? And then again, girls are like that kind of thing, right? Actually, I'm not all that into it. And no one's coming to seat us. Maybe there's no one here? Don't be silly, Maya. This is a restaurant, and it's open for business. Hello? Anyone here? I don't believe it. There really isn't anyone here. Perfect. Let's get intrusive. If there's no one here, we can take anything we want. Yeah, suppose we can. No clues here? Hello? That picture! That's a pretty big clue to me. It's a rack full of fashion magazines, and they're all in French. Well, why don't you try wearing something a bit more chic sometime, huh, Maya? Yeah, I guess I could. I'm always in my acolyte clothes, aren't I? It'd be fun to wear normal clothes every now and then. There's something stuck behind the rack. It looks like a sports paper to me. Hey, and look at this! Someone scribbled a little doodle on one of the pages. MC Bomber. MC Bomber. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. $100,000? Maybe? I wonder what MC Bomber is supposed to be. This paper. It's from December 3rd. This paper's from the day of the poisoning. What? Paper from the day of the murder. This has got to be a clue. I should see if I can find out some more about this paper. After we look around a bit. It's the restaurant's front entrance. There's a sign hanging on the door written in French. It probably says open or closed. Must be one or the other, but I don't know which since I don't know Jack about... I don't know Jack about French. Oh, I don't know Jack. Oh. Okay, that was a good one. That was a really good one. Look at all the little trinkets tucked away in here. I bet Mr. Armstrong collected all these personally. Let's see. A bouquet of flowers, some potpourri, and look, a fine bone china cups. I never knew you were so cultured. Come on, Maya. This is common knowledge. Any Joe Schmo knows this much. Look, it's one of those magical boxes that spits out money. You know, you're the only person who would describe a cash register in that way. This must be the table where the murder occurred. I guess so. With all this police tape around it. And that stain must be the poisoned coffee. Don't go licking the tablecloth, okay, Maya? Why would I lick it? I'm not a cat, you know. Then why can I picture you doing just that? Wow, it's a beautiful winter wonderland out there. Really? Cool! I love snow! Let me see. Huh? It's not white. It's not even snowing. Gotcha! I was only kidding, Maya. Nick! There are lies that are okay to tell, and lies that definitely aren't. All I did was tell an itty-bitty white lie about non-existent white snow. This restaurant has partitions to separate the tables. When you're seated at a table, you can only see the tables to your right or left. And this table's set nicely. Just just needs a customer. What do you think this flower is, Nick? Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like a tulip. It's not a sunflower, I don't think. Duh! Even I could have told you that. Well, those are the only kinds of flowers I know. Dagnabbit, I'm a lawyer, not botanist! Is that really all there is? Well, we got something. Let's see if we can get any info out of Gumshoe. Why has the blue badger multiplied? And why is it pink? Gumshoe, what have you done? It's been ages since we came down to the precinct, huh, Nick? Looks like Gumshoe isn't around. He's got it so easy leaving everyone else to do the work. No, he's out there somewhere. I bet he's on the courthouse. He's probably trying to arrange the retrial of this case. Guess that means we should go to the detention center and chat with our killer, huh? After being convicted without a fair trial, I'm not sure killer's the right label. What is this monstrosity? Hey, that's the police mascot, isn't it? It's so cute. So that's the blue badger. It was my idea. I made it, and now it's the national symbol of the police force. So what's with the pink one? It's new, right? She's not an it, Nick. She's a she, right, Chief? Yep, meet the pink badger. So one's called blue and the other's called pink. But they're both called badger. You got it. They're married. Mr. and Mrs. Badger seem to be cuffed together, Chief. You got it. That's marriage for you. Whoa, that's got that's deeper than the deepest of deep oceans. Anyways. Oh, a sports paper. Let's see. Did Gustin Braun manage to defend his heavyweight title? Sorry, Maggie. That paper is actually a month old. It's from the day of the murder. And Gustin got knocked out yesterday, I'm afraid. Oh no. I found this paper in the magazine rack at Trebian. Really? That's strange. Trebian doesn't get newspapers. Mr. Armstrong says he's not really fond of them. Then maybe one of the customers left it behind? Anyway, what I want you to take a look at is this scribble here. Aha! That's it, sir! MC Bomber. That was the name that was written on the CD. Just as I thought. Wait, hold on. One second. Why is there a little tiny Master Mask in the corner? I just noticed. Little tiny Master Mask. Even after the case, we cannot escape Master Mask. I just had to point that out, huh? I guess it was an MC screwdriver after all, huh? So that $100,000 must be a down payment for a record deal, right? If someone gave me $100,000, I'd sing for sure. The Master of Kurain, or the Spirit Song, or even Maya's theme. Okay, Maya. So if the sample CD was on the victim's table, that means this newspaper may have belonged to the victim. You're right. So the victim left this behind on the day of the murder, huh? I think I better step up the investigation, don't you, Nick? Are we gonna get to meet Armstrong now? Oh la la, bonjour! Welcome to La Trebienne! Oh, hello. What happened to Maya? She's frozen stiff. Drop! I have questions and don't want them to be answered. What the fuck am I looking at? Alfred Fullman Alchemist Armstrong. Bienvenue. Welcome to my petite restaurant. Huh. B Avenue. Oh no, my petite tulip. Me? Look at his face. Like a kitten rejected by its own mother. You are fatigued, no? Hello, you need this? An aromatic bath oil melange of La Neroli and La Rose. My personal recommendation. You think I need what? Oui, oui. Just a couple of drops of this mixture to la bath and voila. It will soothe your body and your mind. It's simply fantastic. Really? And for the monsieur. Who, me? Look at that face. Like the puppy rejected by life itself. You are fatigued, no? For you, monsieur, I'll recommend this. Oil of bergamot. And maybe a hint of... Oui, oui. I will add the peppermint and the glycine for a fragrance exceptional. Such an invigorating recipe will bring out your delicious beauty, monsieurs. My beauty? Hello, if you will be seated, I will bring you a special menu of the day. Actually, we're not here to eat. We're lawyers. My bien sûr, I know this already, monsieur. You are the Phoenix Wright, no? Yes? You know me? My oui oui! I will never forget a man who flirts with me, especially in court. Oh, sweet Jesus! I guess he was cross-examined by a mysterious Shin Ilp. Looks like everyone to do with this case knows who I am already. I wonder what sort of impression Shin Ilp's been leaving on people, don't you? Allow me to introduce myself again. I am Jean Armstrong, Argente. So what does très bien mean? I know très, that means 3, right? No. Très bien is Francis. In English you would say very good. Oh, very good. Oui, exactement. L'atmosphere is très bien, and the cuisine is très bien. If the food's so good, why aren't there any customers in here? My cuisine is not for all. Some people, they do not appreciate the hot cuisine. I thought everyone liked hot cuisine. Since I have lost Maggie, I do not have enough fans. So you're running this place on your own now? Oui, for the moment. No one has entered my advertisement. Oh, pour moi. Please, don't eyeball me when you say that. I am the chef. I am the manager. I am also a trained aromatherapist. A roaming what? A practitioner of aromatherapy, the art of soothing the soul with delicate floral aromas. Delicate? The smell coming from that bottle earlier was anything but. So, could you tell me what you know about the incident? Bien! It makes me sad to remember it. Yes, I remember it so well. More than a month has passed since it happened. Yeah, I guess it's been about a month since Maggie's sentencing. So, it was the 3rd of last month, just after 1 in the afternoon. A man who was in here for coffee suddenly became ill. Because of the poison in his coffee. That is the truth as I knew it. It was Maggie who took his drink to him. I was in the kitchen. I heard the sound of someone collapsing. When I came to see what it was already slumped in his chair. He was dead? Mon Dieu, oui, he was dead. Maggie had passed out also. And this man who died, he was alone? Oui, monsieur. All alone. I know that Maggie said there was someone else, but... I see. The police, they asked me many times. Are you sure there was no one else at the table, they asked. But I am not the only one. The old man said the same thing. Old man? What old man? So who is this old man that you mentioned? At the time of the murder, there was another customer in here. What? Someone else saw it? Mais oui. As usual, he came alone that day. At the time of the murder, he was here. He saw it too. But he said the same thing. That there was no one else at the victim's table. But Maggie swears there were 2 people. Mademoiselle, the lawyers, you could not prove it. You could not prove this, no? About the lawyer. That was me, I suppose? Maybe so. Wow, he's the first person who said it wasn't me. Don't kid yourself, Nick. Now who's the one making stuff up? You know about this. We found this sports paper in the magazine rack here. Uname customers must have left it behind. Do you have any idea which customer it was? Is the only idea I have, mademoiselle, I save for my kitchen. Helpful. I am not a lawyer myself, I do not wish to speak out of turn. But your defense in court is that they was a little, how do you say, lacking perhaps? Even a Frenchman who cannot speak any English could have done a better job. You are very cool though. Oh, oui, so handsome. Wow. I wonder just how bad the defense could have been. Every time you opened your mouth, the whole courthouse stirred. Oh man, that is something I don't want to imagine. You didn't tell me where this old man is. It still says I've examined everything. This is new. It's a rack full of fashion magazines and they're all in French. Looks like Mr. Armstrong doesn't get any newspapers. Well, it wouldn't exactly suit the feel of the place, would it? Why don't you try wearing something a bit more chic? Yeah, I'd look stunning in one of those Parisian frocks, huh? I found that sports paper behind this magazine rack earlier. I better try to find out everything I can about it. We are still not going to examine this. Although, why when we have the actual article in front of us? This? The last time we met, did I show you this badge? Oui, you flashed it to everyone in the restaurant. Looks like Shane Yolp is a bigger fan of flashing stuff than you are, Nick. Can we not with that comment? Oh, flashing stuff indeed, huh? Eevee. How many times do I keep forgetting that showing profiles is a thing? Maggie was a policewoman once. N'est-ce pas? Yes, but she had to quit for, reasons beyond her control. Eevee, she was a suspect in the murder investigation, no? Oh! You know about that. That is why I gave her the perfume for the happiness. Happiness perfume? Oui, blended from bergamot, like I have given to you before. But she's been arrested again, and found guilty this time. This is true. A natural aroma of unhappiness must have been very strong. Just admit it, your perfume doesn't work. I am not surprised she was a prime suspect, after something like that took place before my very eyes. Something like what? What's this guy talking about? Does this mean Maggie did have a motive? You've got to ask this guy for more info. Stat! When Maggie took the coffee over to the victim, did anything happen? Oui, I suppose you could say so. So what happened? No, it was nothing. Look, Maggie says she didn't even know the guy, but she's still been indicted for murder. The prosecution must have come up with some kind of motive. Oui, it is true. If there was anything at all between Maggie and the victim, it could be relevant. So please, tell us anything you know. Oh boy, 3. Cyclops! No way! What are we going to do, Nick? We'll just have to remove... What the... What's wrong? The Magatama! It's gone! Oh yeah, it is! Huh? I had it in my pocket, but it's vanished into thin air. What? I could see the Cyclops. Maybe that means the Magatama's nearby? Mr. Armstrong, could I just confirm something with you again? The table where the victim was sitting. Was anyone else sitting there? That is a question you'll have to ask him for yourselves. Huh? Him? The old man spends all of his time down the park. The park? Oh, a park. What park's that? Behind the restaurant. It is called Vitamin Square. Thank you! Je vous en prie, my dear. Let's go check out this Vitamin Square right now, Nick. Might as well. So, this is Vitamin Square. Yeah, I see where they get the name from now. The fruits scream vitamins at you. Hey, Nick? That's the guy, right? Isn't that the old man Mr. Armstrong was talking about? That grouchy-looking grandpa? He's throwing seeds out for the pigeons. Maya, he's not throwing seeds at them. He's throwing seeds at them. Ugh. My grumpiness threat level has just been raised to red. Yeah. This one's gonna be... This guy is gonna be rough to talk to. But we'll have to do it in the next episode. So, till then, I'm signing off. Bye-bye.